Hello and welcome to the next video. In the last video we had discussed that if I have a semiconductor material like silicon, there is a very less energy difference between the valence electrons and the valence energy level and the conduction energy level. So electron can jump to, sometimes not easily like the conductor, but when energy is gained by through collision, some of the electrons can jump to the conduction band, leaving a hole inside the bond, and this hole can be like other electrons can come to fill in this hole, and in this way the semiconductor can conduct electricity either through the replacement of the holes by electrons or by the conduction of current through the electron which has just gone to the conduction band. Now there are methods in which we can further increase the conductivity of the semiconductor. So let us look into that. So I have same silicon material here, so let me put silicon, 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 Si, Si. So now we can increase the conductivity of the semiconductor by introducing certain impurities. So introduction of impurities will increase the conductivity, some type of impurities. So introduction of impurities, and this introduction of impurities inside the semiconductor the process is called doping. So let us see how the process of doping will help us to increase the conductivity of the semiconductor. So consider that I introduce impurities, very small impurity. The impurities which are introduced are like one impurity in 10 to the power 6 of the order, one impurity in 10 to the power 6. So suppose I have 10 to the power silicon atoms, and for every 10 to the power silicon atoms I introduced one phosphorus. Okay, so how many valence electrons does a phosphorus have? Okay, so you can go to your chemistry textbook to find out how many electrons of valence electrons a phosphorus atom has. I will just give you an answer quickly. It is 5. Okay, so phosphorus has 5 electrons, valence electrons. So when I introduce a phosphorus inside silicon, what happens is it has, now silicon only requires, like the structure is like each atom shares an electron with 4 other atoms. So here phosphorus atom will share 1 electron with this silicon atom, 1 electron with this silicon atom, 1 electron with this silicon atom, and another electron with this silicon atom. So 4 electrons are being shared, but it has 5 valence electrons. So I have 1 electron left free, and this free electron is in addition to already the natural state of free electrons which a silicon has. So by introducing a phosphorus impurity, I have added another free electron inside the crystal lattice, and this free electron increases the number of free electrons available in the silicon atom and silicon material or silicon crystals. It increases the number of electron, and by increasing the number of free electrons it increases the conductivity. Okay, so here what we have done here is because this phosphorus, okay, before I introduce some of the terms, let us quickly discuss another way in which I can increase the conductivity of of the semiconductors. Another way of increasing the conducting power of semiconductor is same, introduction of an impurity. So these are all silicon atoms, and again, like I introduced to one impurity, one atom of impurity for every 10 to the power 6 silicon atoms. And here now, instead of phosphorus, I will introduce aluminum. Okay, so how many valence electrons an aluminum has? The number of valence electrons an aluminum has is 3. Okay, so it will, of this 3, it will share one electron with this, one electron with this, one electron with this silicon atom, but it is falling short of another. It has only 3, so it cannot share any electron with this, the fourth silicon atom, because it has only 3 valence electron. So this is open now. Okay, so what happens, we know what happens if there is no bond here, because all these electrons are at the same energy level. It is very easy for an electron, for an adjacent, so this silicon atom will be connected to another silicon atom adjacently, but it's very easy for this electron to get transferred to this bond. So there will be a new bond here, but again this will be, this bond will go away. So in order to replace this bond, another electron may come from here. So in this way there can be motion of electrons. So this motion of electrons can increase the conductivity in a second way for the semiconductor. So basically, what is the difference between this and this? Here phosphorus gives an extra electron, here an atom, here aluminum takes an extra electron. Okay, so therefore, aluminum takes and phosphorus gives. So this type of impurity is called donor impurity. This is one important term, donor impurity, because it has extra electron which it can give it, donor impurity. And this type of impurity where the aluminum is taking an electron, this type of impurity is called acceptor impurity, because it accepts electrons. Okay, and this type, because it gives an extra electron, these are called N type of semiconductor. N type of semiconductor. Okay, and because electron is negatively charged, so it is called N type of semiconductor. But here, because it takes electron, so it is called positive type or P type semiconductor. So these are the basic definitions of semiconductors. What is a semiconductor? Why a semiconductor can conduct electricity in how many different ways, and what are the different types of semiconductor? What is doping? Doping is introduction of an impurity to increase the conductivity of a semiconductor. And what are the different types of doping? One is by introducing a donor impurity, and another is introducing an acceptor impurity, and which has a donor impurity because it gives an electron, it is called N type of semiconductor. And because the other type, where the acceptor impurity is there, because it accepts electron, it is called a positive type or P type semiconductor. So having discussed that, let us now go to a very interesting topic like of PN junction, PN type of semiconductor or PN junction. So what we have done here is, we have here in this case, we have introduced in this crystal only one type of, only the donor impurity. Okay, in this semiconductor we have only introduced an acceptor impurity. Okay, here we have given only a donor impurity, here we have given only an acceptor impurity. What happens when I have a semiconductor and I give to one part, I give a donor impurity, and another I give an acceptor impurity. Okay, so when I give an acceptor impurity, suppose this portion I have given an acceptor impurity. So acceptor impurity is a positive type. It is called an acceptor because there are bonds missing. So there is a hole here. We had defined what is hole in our previous video. So it is a positive and has lot of holes. So I will write holes here. Lot of holes are there. I have introduced not lot, 1 in 10 to the power 6, but there are holes in this side, and there are electrons or extra electrons here. Okay, what happens in this case? So one thing which is obvious is, because this has high concentricity of holes here and this side has high concentricity of electrons here, the holes will start, H will start to go from here to here, and because this side has higher concentricity of electrons, the electrons will start to diffuse from here to here. Okay, now remember, these are only extra electrons, extra free electrons, but the overall charge is neutral here. Okay, similarly that overall charge here is neutral. So when electron starts going from here to here, and when the hole starts to move from here to here, what happens is, this, because electrons are going from here, there will be electrons are decreasing from this side, this will get a plus sign, and because electrons are going from here to here, this will start getting a minus charge. So a potential difference will start to gradually develop between, suppose I start with this configuration. After some time, what will happen is, let me just draw what will happen after some time. So here I have this, there are holes here, there are electrons. Okay, let me draw. There are holes this side, there are electrons this side, holes, electrons, and because some of the electrons, suppose these electrons have diffused from here to here, there will be electrons here and there will be holes here, and because electrons have gone from a neutral body from here to here, this side will have negative charge. So this side will have negative charge and this side will have positive charge. Okay, so now there will be a partition like this, okay. The holes, the electrons will continue to go from here to here, increasing the potential till there is still the potential difference is large enough so that the kinetic energy of these electrons on an average are no longer able to take the electrons from here to here. So an equilibrium position will be set up. Okay, an equilibrium position will be set up. The diffusion will carry on till the time the electrons have enough energy to overcome this positive this potential difference, which has been set up, which was being gradually set up when the electrons were gradually diffusing from here to here. The diffusion will continue till the time electrons have enough energy to overcome this potential barrier. So what is happening here is a field has been set up. Okay, the field has been set up. So any electron which has to travel from here to here have to overcome this field. Okay, so now again, if I, but it has to overcome a barrier of this field, or because there is a field, there is a potential difference. So the electron has to overcome a potential barrier. So if I draw, if I have a graph here, okay, if I have a graph here, suppose this is a negative charge, I say this will have a zero potential. So the potential will be 0 till here, all will be at same position. In this zone, the potential from negative to positive will increase like this, and again it will become constant. Okay, so any suppose, let me take a hole, any hole which tries to go from here to here will have to overcome this potential difference. So this is known as a potential barrier. This is another important term. Potential barrier is the potential difference set up in a p-n junction when it is at equilibrium position. So potential difference between the p and n side, the positive side and the negative side, is in an equilibrium, is the potential barrier. Okay, so in order to for the holes to travel from this side to this side, or the electrons to travel from this side to this side, they have to overcome a potential barrier. But always statistically there would always be some electrons, though however small it is, when nothing is, no battery is connected or anything, however small it is, there would be some electrons statistically which will have enough energy to overcome this potential barrier. So there would always be some electron at any given period which flows from here to here. Okay, and that, because flow of electrons is nothing but current, so this flow of electrons from the negative side to positive side overcoming the potential barrier is known as diffusion current. Diffusion current. So initially when there is potential, when I have just starting with this, when I am just starting with this, the diffusion current will be very high, or high, it will be higher, and it will gradually come down to almost 0 when there has been a set up a potential barrier. So this diffusion of electrons from the negative side to the positive side, or the diffusion of holes from positive side to negative side, is known as diffusion current. Okay, and there is another current known as the drift current. There is another important term which is called drift current. These are all definitional questions can come in your examinations. So another definition is the drift current. So diffusion current is the diffusion of these electrons from here to here. But also consider this region. Okay, in this region there are still those silicon and phosphorus and structures. Okay, and in this zone always, the statistically, or always, because the potential or the energy gap between the valence band, go back to the original definition of semiconductor, we had a valence band and we had a conduction band. Okay, so because the energy difference between the valence band and a conduction band is low, it is relatively low, there are some electrons which can go from valence band to the conduction band. So and it always happens all the time. So here, whenever, because this is still a silicon material, and in silicon material some of the valence band always continue to go to the conduction band. The moment an electron goes to a conduction band, okay, this will be attracted by this positive side charge. Okay, so there is always a constant current inside this neutral, inside this zone, okay, where there is equal number of, where there is no n or p, okay, biasing here. So in this neutral zone there are always electrons from the standard silicon structure which goes to the conduction band, and then which is getting attracted because of this potential difference. So this current, okay, which which is going from the, now the electrons will go from here to here. Electrons will always go from the positive towards the positive side, and so the current which is defined as the opposite of the direction of motion, there is always a current here which goes so this current which is going from here to here, or this is the N side, this is the N side, this is the P side. So this is the N side, this is the P side. So this current which always in the middle, which goes from the end side to the P side, is called the drift current. Okay. So with this we have come to a very important or very interesting topic of we know that what are the typical characteristics of a PN junction, or this is also called a diode. Because it has two charges, two biases, one negative and one positive. That's why it's known as diode. And now let us study what happens to a diode when I connect it to a battery. Okay, so these are the three cases. One is an independent PN junction. This is the region we have just studied, that because N negatively charged particle diffuse from here to here, this is negatively charged and this is positively charged. And we have studied that drift velocity is the drift current is going from here to here, correct? So drift current IDF, I write it here, I drift current dr, drift, let me write as dr, is going from here to here, and always some amount of we just studied diffusion current, that the negative, there is always some amount of electrons which have enough energy which can overcome this potential barrier. So some amount of electrons will always go from here to here, and because current is opposite to the direction of motion of electrons, the diffusion current is from this direction to this direction. So diffusion current will be from here to here. So this is I diffusion I will write IDF, and in general, if it is not connected to any battery, this IDF will almost be equal to the drift velocity, and the net current I net will be equal to 0, net current when it is in equilibrium. Now suppose there are two ways of connecting the battery. One is I connect the positive terminal of the battery to the P side, and another is I connect the negative terminal of the battery to the P side and the positive to the N side. So these are the two ways in which a battery can be connected. So let us see what happens in each case. So let us investigate the first case. Here, when I connect the positive terminal P of the battery to the P side, okay, what happens is, now this was having a negative charge. Okay, so when I connect a positive side of the battery, this potential difference gets reduced. So earlier, if the potential barrier was like this, it was like this, it was like this, correct? We had just studied a few minutes back. This was the potential barrier. Now because the potential barrier has been reduced here, because I have connected the positive side to the battery to the negative side, some of the negative is neutralized because of this. If you can imagine you can imagine it that way. And because of that, because some of the negative has been diffused or destroyed by connecting it to the positive charge, now the potential barrier will decrease, not slightly, it will decrease. And because the potential barrier has decreased, this amount of current, now these electrons have to overcome a less potential difference. Because the potential barrier has decreased, these electrons will have to overcome a lesser potential barrier, and because it has to overcome a lesser potential barrier, the diffusion current. The diffusion of this to this, because it has to overcome a less potential barrier, it will increase. So I am writing it with a bigger arrow than what I did. So I diff will increase, I diffusion. What about the drift current? The drift current, it is independent of the potential charge. It is just the drift velocity. If you remember it, the cause was that the valence silicon electron was jumping to the conduction band. The valence band electrons were jumping to the conduction band, and we know that the energy difference between these two is not much dependent on the external applied field, which is so this will not. So the drift velocity, the energy difference between the conduction band and the valence band will not depend on the battery applied. It will not much depend on that, and so this drift velocity will remain the same. So the opposite drift velocity will remain the same. So now there will be a net current along the battery. So there will be an I net along this circuit. What happens here? What happens in the second case? Okay. So now one thing to notice here is if okay, we'll discuss that after some time, but let us first discuss what will happen in this case. Here I am connecting a negative terminal to the, so now this is already negative, and I am further connecting a negative terminal of the battery to this. So that potential barrier will increase more. Okay. So now the potential barrier will increase, like earlier it was like this. So now the potential barrier will be highly increased. Okay. So the drift velocity will increase. For the diffusion current will drastically decrease. Okay. The drift velocity will be remaining the same, and there will be a small net negligible current flowing in this direction, but this will be very negligible, and for all practical purpose this can be assumed 0. So when a negative terminal of this battery is connected to the positive, the net current will be almost equal to 0. Okay. So now if I draw this, okay, if I draw this, I have the current versus the potential applied. Okay. So in a graph, so this is the current and this is the potential applied. So when it is a positive to the positive, when it is negative, there is a very small I net, so I can write it as this graph will be very small like this, constant I net. Okay. Start from 0, but it is very small value of I net when it is negative. So like this. When it is positive, okay, as I increase the potential, there is a net I net here, and as I increase the potential, this net I net, the I will rise. Now what will happen when if I increase it considerably? If I increase this potential, if I apply a very powerful battery, then what will happen? Then there will be a breakdown of these N and P. Okay, this negative, if I apply a too large potential, the electrons here will be broken down, they will be pushed by this negative charge. Okay, so there will be a huge current after a breakdown point. When it reaches a breakdown point, all the electrons will be detached from, I give a very high, so what happens? I have a conduction band, valence band and conduction band. Okay, if I give very high energy to these valence bands, valence electrons, all will go now, they will not depend on the collision. Okay, if the current itself, the electric field applied or the current or the potential applied itself is enough, there is no need of depending on the collision of electrons to jump to this level. So if I apply a very large or a breakdown or this when the applied potential has enough energy to raise this valence bond electrons only to this level, then there will be a breakdown and a large amount of current will then start flowing. So after a certain point here, there will be a breakdown and the current will increase to a very large value. So this graph, though very crudely drawn, but this graph is very important. This gives us the current, the profile of how the current will change with the applied voltage when a diode is connected to a battery. Okay, I guess that's all we have time for this video. In the next video we will go through how a PN junction can be used as a rectifier. Okay, what is a rectifier and how a PN junction can be used as a rectifier, we will discuss in the next video. As well as we will try to touch on the topic of what are transistors and how they are helpful. So see you in the next video.